The world's 10 most shocking traditions for women. Imagine a world where a bride is treated like a commodity, sold and inherited like property. Where customs force women into unimaginable situations. Some must stretch their lips with plates for a higher dowry, while others are compelled to marry their own sons. Every culture has its unique traditions, but some push the boundaries of what we can comprehend. Today, we're diving into the 10 most unbelievable and jaw-dropping traditions for women around the globe. Brace yourself. What you're about to hear will leave you speechless. Top 10. The tradition of a mother marrying her son in Cameroon. Around the world, some traditions leave outsiders in disbelief. Among them is the practice in Cameroon where a mother can marry her son. At first glance, it may seem impossible to accept, but to truly understand, we must step into their cultural lens. A world where family, legacy, and property are the foundation of relationships. In this society, marriage isn't just about love, it's about duty to the family. In some regions of Cameroon, a son may inherit his father's wife, or a younger brother may marry his elder brother's widow. This practice isn't born out of affection but rather to protect family wealth and honor, ensuring that the fat doesn't spill into someone else's yard. The goal is to keep the family's assets intact and untouched by outsiders. For women, marriage often begins at a very young age. In rural areas, girls as young as 2 are engaged, and by the age of 9, they are already married. In urban settings, women typically marry around the age of 20, while men must be at least 18. Yet, these modern standards coexist with deeply rooted ancient customs. In a society where polygamy is legal, only the wealthiest men can afford multiple wives. These men are symbols of power, often having dozens of wives and children. To manage their households, they maintain detailed schedules, rotating time with each wife. When the head of a family dies, all his property, wives, and children are passed on to his heir, usually the eldest son. These women, now part of the inheritance, may be passed down as a responsibility to keep the family united and prevent them from remarrying outsiders who might take away the family's wealth. However, this tradition isn't mandatory. If both the heir and the father's wife disagree, the arrangement can be refused. Yet, refusal often comes with heavy consequences: ostracism from the community and the risk of being treated unfairly. For outsiders, this practice may seem incomprehensible or even shocking, but for those in Cameroon, it's a way of life where tradition and family duty take precedence. The question remains, as the world changes, will these customs evolve, or will they continue to exist as a hallmark of deep cultural roots? Top 9. The lip plate tradition of the Mursi tribe. In the heart of East Africa lies the Mursi tribe of Ethiopia, where a tradition as astonishing as it is profound endures. Women wearing lip plates. To the world, it may appear strange or even unsettling. But for the Mursi, these plates are a powerful symbol of beauty, identity, and resilience. The journey into this tradition begins in a girl's teenage years. With quiet resolve, she endures a ritual where her lower lip is cut and a small plate inserted. Over time, the plate grows larger, stretching her lip into a striking feature that tells her story. For the Mursi, the size of a woman's plate is more than aesthetic. It defines her worth. The larger the plate, the greater her beauty and the higher her bride price. Often measured in cows, a large plate can bring her family up to 50 cows, a fortune in their society. Without a plate, a woman risks being seen as undesirable, unworthy of marriage. But this tradition wasn't born of vanity. It emerged from survival. In a time when rival tribes raided villages, capturing women as slaves, Mursi men devised a way to protect their own. The stretched lips were meant to make their women unattractive to outsiders. What began as a shield against harm transformed into a badge of pride, a symbol of a woman's strength and loyalty to her family. Even so, the lip plate is not a permanent fixture. When a husband dies, the plate is often removed, a somber act marking the end of her marital ties. During meals, women set aside their plates, momentarily free from their symbolic weight. Today, this ancient tradition stands at a crossroads. Modern influences seep into the tribe, and younger generations question the need for such a practice. Some women now see the plates less as a mark of pride and more as a relic of a bygone era. Yet, for others, the plates remain a source of empowerment. The mercy lip play tradition is more than a cultural oddity. It's a story of survival, transformation, and identity. It speaks to the lengths of people will go to protect their own and the beauty they find in the struggle. As the world changes, the mercy must decide, will they hold on to this defining tradition? Or will it fade into history, remembered only in stories and photographs? The answer lies in the delicate balance between past and progress. Top 8. Daughters bathing with their fathers in Japan. In a world where cultures define how we express love and gratitude, Japan presents a tradition that stirs deep emotions: daughters bathing with their fathers. To outsiders, it may seem unusual, even uncomfortable, but within Japanese culture, it symbolizes a profound act of respect and familial connection. On Father's Day, Japanese daughters honor their fathers not just with words but through an intimate tradition. They bathe with their fathers, a gesture rooted in filial piety. Alongside this, they write heartfelt letters, reading them aloud to express their gratitude for years of love and sacrifice. For the daughters, it's a way to acknowledge the tireless efforts of their fathers and to say, "Thank you for everything." Before marriage, this tradition takes on an even deeper meaning. Daughters, preparing to leave their families, bathe with their fathers one last time. Washing their father's back and feet is not just an act of care but a symbolic gesture of cleansing away years of hardship. It's their way of saying goodbye, of honoring their father's unwavering dedication to the family. While such a practice may feel invasive or awkward from an outsider's perspective, in Japan, it reflects a cultural norm where physical closeness is a natural expression of love and gratitude. There is no embarrassment, no hesitation, only a shared moment that binds father and daughter in an unspoken understanding. This tradition speaks to the heart of Japanese values: family, respect, and connection. It's a reminder that love takes many forms, and sometimes, the most intimate gestures carry the deepest meaning. For these daughters, it's more than just a tradition. It's a profound way of saying, "You are appreciated, and I will never forget what you've done for me." In a modernizing world, where traditions like these may slowly fade, their essence continues to resonate. They remind us of the importance of gratitude, the power of family, and the beauty of honoring those who've shaped our lives. Top 7. Choosing a bride in a Turkish bathhouse. When it comes to romance, Turkey stands out not only for its breathtaking landscapes but also for its fascinating traditions. Among the most unique is the tradition of choosing a bride in a Turkish bathhouse, a custom that merges sacred beliefs with practical matchmaking. In Turkish culture, the bathhouse, or hammam, is more than just a place to cleanse the body. It is seen as a holy space, a sanctuary where individuals purify both body and mind. For the Turkish people, bathing together, men and women alike, carries no shame. Instead, it represents an act of spiritual and physical renewal in the eyes of Allah. Turkish bathhouses are beautifully decorated with intricate tiles and large communal spaces where people can sit, lie down, or relax on heated stone slabs. These slabs, kept at a soothing 40 degrees Celsius, provide comfort and relaxation, making the hammam a place of peace after a tiring day. But the hammam is not just about relaxation. It's also a space where important family matters are decided, including marriage. In this unique tradition, Turkish men use the communal baths to observe women and decide on potential matches. Here, they see women without the heavy robes and veils that typically obscure their appearance in public. Future mothers-in-law play a central role in this process. If a son is already engaged, his mother may invite the bride to be bathed together. During this time, the mother-in-law observes not only the young woman's appearance but also her physical features, such as the size of her pelvis, which is believed to bring luck and fertility to the family. Women with body odor, however, are often deemed unlucky, as it is considered a sign of divine disfavor. The hammam also serves as a place for celebrations. On the 40th day after a child's birth, mothers bring their newborns to the bathhouse for a blessing. This joyous occasion often includes feasting, music, and prayers for the child's health and happiness. This tradition highlights the importance of family, community, and faith in Turkish culture. While it may seem unusual to outsiders, the hammam embodies a blend of sacred rituals and social customs, making it an integral part of Turkish life. Through these traditions, The hammam remains not only a place of purification but also a cornerstone of connection and celebration. Top 6. The Pakistani bride who cannot smile. In Pakistan, a wedding is a grand celebration of love. But for the bride, it is a day marked by bittersweet emotions. Despite the joy in her heart, she is bound by tradition to hide her happiness, wearing a solemn expression as a sign of respect and filial piety. The journey begins 5 days before the wedding, as the bride undergoes a ceremonial bath, symbolizing purity and new beginnings. Female relatives lovingly adorn her with intricate henna patterns on her hands and feet, each design reflecting their wishes for her happiness. On the wedding day, dressed in dazzling traditional attire, the bride circles her new home 3 times, a poignant ritual marking her acceptance into her husband's family. Though the atmosphere is filled with music and celebration, the bride must suppress her joy. Her sadness reflects the pain of leaving her childhood home and her family behind. A visible acknowledgement of the sacrifices they've made for her. The more solemn her expression, the more respect she earns from in-laws and relatives. A smiling bride risks being judged, her happiness mistaken for insensitivity toward her parents. For Pakistani brides, a wedding is not just a union of love, it is also a farewell. It is a moment where joy and sorrow collide, where the bonds of family and tradition take precedence over personal feelings. Imagine the strength it takes for a young bride to hide her happiness, balancing love, duty, and loss on the most important day of her life. Would you have the courage to embrace such a deeply emotional tradition? A day where every smile holds meaning, and every tear honors a bond that time cannot break? Curious about more extraordinary traditions from around the world? Don't miss the next episode as we dive into the top 5 most fascinating customs. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications to stay updated. See you in the next adventure.